Hello everyone, this video is gonna be completely, the majority part in English. Okay, so it's just the briefing of Union Budget of India of this year 2021-22. Okay, so this was the very first budget of Government of India that was presented in a digital way. So this is our first digital budget, all right, and there are two parts of Union Budget of India. This is the part one where we'll discuss the briefing of the budget through the infographics published by PIB. Okay, so what is budget? Budget is basically the estimates of income and the expenditure. So during the financial year, you just plan what are the income you are going to receive and where you are going to spend money. Okay, so this when you plan your income and expenditure on behalf, as a government of India, that is called the Union Budget of India. All right, so the budget is basically estimates of income and expenditure. So this year budget, this year 2021 and 22, basically has the theme which is based on the six following pillars. The very first is the health and the well-being. It means that the government is very much concerned about health and the well-being issues, where the government has addressed and allocated funds for many schemes and developing the infrastructure regarding health and the well-being. We'll definitely discuss that with the figures and the schemes in the upcoming video part 2. And then the second pillar was the physical and financial capital and infrastructure. See, the second pillar was again very important, where we need to empower physical and the financial capital. Physical capital, basically here we are talking about the assets, okay, and the assets which will help to generate the production capacity or increase the production capacity of whole economy. So here we need to pump this sector and the infrastructure, where the infrastructure comes with the ports, airports, roads, railways, etc. We need to boost this sector. So many schemes were launched and the funds is well allocated, so that we can improve our physical and the financial capital and infrastructure status, which exists nowadays. Okay, and now the third thing is the inclusive development for the aspirational India. Yes, we have aspirations as an Indian, lots of aspiration. One of them is where we are so much ambitious, that is the $5 trillion economy, right? That target. Apart from that, improving standard of living and achieving sustainable development goals. So inclusive development here basically means the section of the society which is very weak or underprivileged, that to include in our social, political, or economical activities, so that their standard of living improve can be improved, and those people uh, can play their role directly for social, political, and the economical affairs. Okay, reinvigorating human capital here basically it means human is also one kind of capital. Capital generally means a kind of machine, or like the production tool, right? So human is also one kind of production tool and very important. So here we are talking about our skills giving institution, or the schools and the colleges about. Okay, so we are going to improve through the new education policy and funding and improving our educational infrastructure, so that we can form the well skilled educated human capital that will lead our economy. Okay, so that we can achieve our aspirations or ambitions. Now the next pillar, that is the fifth one, that is the innovation and the R&D. Yes, it is very much important if you want to lead the world, or if you want to be one of the leading economies in throughout the world. There the innovation and research and development play very crucial role. Okay, because you know the innovation gives you the new things, gives you the, you know, that the leading things, so that can help a lot to the economy to you know lead the whole world basically. Why the developed economies are so ahead and they lead the world? The basic thing is that there is lots of innovation and research and development. They do focus on these things a lot. And if if you remember that, then our economic survey of this year has also address this topic, the research and development and innovation, where India is so much backward, and India need to move on and improve its status in terms of innovation and the research and development to changes its economy status also. And the last thing is the minimum government and the maximum governance. Okay, so for this, before learning this pillar, you must know that the government is not for doing the business or any kind of, you know, like the economic activity. The government's basic role is just to, you know, control, not the control the things, but to do the things in welfare of the people and to act in interest of the general public. Okay, so when the governance is I mean when the government interferes a lot, that creates a problem like the red tapeism or the corruption like things, and somewhere that make our system, our economy inefficient and ineffective. To make our economy effective and efficient, we must work on the minimum government and the maximum governance, where the government interference will be you know at the least level, but the government support will be at the maximum level. So that is what the sixth pillar about that. The many things were done. For example, if you remember, there is new policy in the tax tax or the revenue department, where nowadays if I talk about the income tax department, they launched this scheme of faceless, right, faceless kind of procedure for you know hearing and filing the ITR concern related things. Apart from that, some samvad se samadhan like scheme. Okay, so these things are somewhere, you know, the very important to maximize the governance but minimize the government. Okay, so here in this infographics you are going to know about the trends in the tax receipts. You can see in the right side 4, 6, 8, 10, these are the percentage of GDP, and the yellow line is showing the direct tax, and this the second one line, that is orange, I think the right red line, that is showing the indirect tax portion, and the upper one, the brown one, is showing the gross tax receipt. So the yellow one, this is how, you know, you don't need to mug up the data, you just need to just figure out and understand that how our tax revenue, whether in terms of direct or indirect, is decreasing or increasing throughout the year. If you find out, see, during the year 2015, 16 to 1920, your gross tax revenue was increased and then decreased till the previous level almost, that is 10% of GDP. And nowadays we have on an average that the gross tax receipts, that is 10%. So whatever the amount we receive in form of various tax, whether the direct or the indirect taxes, that is somewhere almost 10% of our GDP. That is also the estimates of this year as well, where you will find that the indirect tax contribution is somewhere or almost or approximately equal to the direct tax contribution. but in the previous year you can find the difference and the fluctuation and the various gaps between the direct and indirect taxes. Somewhere the direct tax is higher, highly contributing, and on the other side in some years indirect tax is contributing, right? So this is how this slide is saying that almost the direct tax and the indirect tax are contributing equal in amount when the gross tax receipts is almost 10% of the GDP. Now the types of the budgets. Okay, so budgets are basically of the three types you can see in the slide. First one is the balanced budget. Okay, the balanced budget means where you plan that the whatever you're going to receive, I mean to say you here means that the government of India, okay, so receipts are equal to the expenditure. Surplus budget means where the receipts are more than the expenditure. Surplus budget means the positive or the profitable budget, okay. You can see I also highlighted to the text, you can see that the expenditure portion is not highlighted, and that is smaller in size than the receipt. It means the receipts are bigger than the expenditure. And deficit is quite opposite of the surplus budget, where basically receipts are smaller than the expenditure, okay, where the government has expenditure in big numbers than the receipts. So these are three types of budgets, okay. India like countries basically have the deficit budget, okay, where the countries spend more and their source of incomes are less comparatively, okay. Now the deficit is again of three types. There can be fiscal deficit, revenue deficit, and the primary deficit. And it's very important because various kinds of terms, various terms you will hear or even find in these infographics. These are very important to know. So the fiscal deficit means the all expenditures. All expenditure means which whatever the expenditure government made, whether of the revenue kind or the capital kind. I'll let you know what is revenue and the capital one, and less the all receipts. Receipts are all always we can see. Generally, we are talking about the deficit, so receipts are obviously less. So the all expenditure minus all receipts means that is the general loss is called the fiscal deficit. Okay. Now the revenue deficit. Before going to find out what is revenue deficit, we must know what is revenue expenditure and revenue receipts, and simultaneously we'll learn what is capital expenditure and the capital receipts, okay. So the revenue expenditure, the revenue receipts, like where you never create any kind of investment or the asset, or nor, or you can say not any kind of liabilities. For example, if you made expenditure, it doesn't mean that you are investing you will get anything in the return. That is the revenue expenditure, okay. And the revenue, for example, the government is paying salary to the government employees, so in return the government is not going to get any kind of return in form of investment. That is just paying for the services given by the employees. And the revenue receipts, for example, are the for income tax, okay. Government is receiving income tax, but for that government is not creating any liability. Government is not liable to pay back for this, all right. So that is the revenue receipts. Opposite or the inversely, the capital expenditure here. So the capital expenditure means the expenditure that makes your asset or your investment. Let's say if you give loan to other country, let's say India gives loan to the Nepal, okay, so that is the investment of or the assets of India. India will receive some return over the assets or the investment, okay, in form of interest. On the other side, the capital receipts will create liability. For example, India receives loan from the World Bank, so here that is the capital receipts, because in government is creating liability, government will have to pay back that liability, with the interest amount. All right. So this is how the revenue and the capital income and expenditures are differentiated. Okay, so now the revenue deficit is very simple. All the revenue expenses of the government, I mean the all revenue expenses, here we are not talking about the capital expenditure. Okay, so only the revenue expenditure minus the revenue receipts is the revenue deficit, and the primary deficit, the last one, very important. All the expenditure but not the interest payment, means whatever the expenditure which is made by the government less the interest amount which is paid by the government. See, the interest payment is also the part of expenditure, but this is not counted in the primary deficits. Okay, so all the expenditure but not the interest payment minus all receipts. Okay, so in short, is in the other words, we can say that the fiscal deficit minus the interest payment is are the primary deficit. Okay, now the trends in the deficit you can find, the last year, that was the 2020 and 21, has changed everything. All the planning, the planning became failed. All right, there was nothing you can say in terms of planning or the implementation. Everything was distorted. Though the before the pandemic time, before that challenge or the world level crisis, we had the different we had the very low level of the deficit amount, whether that is the fiscal revenue or the primary deficit. The yellow line is showing the primary deficit, and then the orange line is showing the effective revenue deficit, red line is showing the revenue deficit, and ultimately that is the fiscal deficit shown by the brown line. But during the pandemic, you can see during the last year, our fiscal deficit was all time highest, or at the peak 9.5% of the GDP. But this year, when the budget is presented in the very first day of the Feb, this was we estimated that our deficit is going to be 6.8% of the GDP. That is the fiscal deficit. Generally, whenever we talk deficit, that means fiscal deficit. Okay, and our the primary deficit is going to be only 3.1%. This is how you can see that the fiscal deficit is 6.8%, but the primary deficit is 3.1%. It means somewhere 50% of the fiscal deficit we are just paying in form of the interest. Okay, so the interest payment is almost 50% of the fiscal deficit. So this is how you can find that the government is paying the interest. Government has a lot of interest burden. And see, this is how the government's funds are misutilized or the wasted, you can say, because the same amount of fund, whatever the interest payment is made by the government, can be utilized for the developmental purpose or for the growth or the development of India. But now we are paying because we have big amount of the big liability, or the liability amount is so much big. So this is how you can see why do we have the different parameter: fiscal deficit, primary, or the revenue deficit. Okay, all right. So I hope now you can understand what is the importance of primary deficit and the fiscal deficit and the revenue deficit also. See how revenue deficit works. Revenue deficit means that whatever the government, however the government is operating, for the operation of the government is making some expenditure, and government have also some sources of income as well. But if the government is failed to meet the expenses through the I mean the operational expenses through the revenue receipts, then that is called the very poor performance of the government. Means the government is very much or the poorly performing. All right. So these are also some terms you can find during a discussion of the infographics, like the budget estimates, revised estimates, and the actual estimates. So but what happens basically, the budget estimates is like before the financial year we plan that how are we going to make expenditures, and how are we going to receive the income during the financial year, during the upcoming financial year. All right. And the revised estimates, like before ending that particular financial year, you realize that whatever you planned, whatever your budget estimate, that are not going to be as it is. There because of some, ups and downs, you need to change something. So you revise. For example, let's say we planned in the fab that during the financial year 2021 and 2022, you will have income of 20 lakh crore, just for example, hypothetical example. But in the December 2021, means after 9 months, or after the 9 months or of the financial year budget, you realize that there were some, the there were there you need to change in the, you need to revise your estimates because of some ups and downs and some changes. Okay, so you revise your estimates during the January 2022, before ending the financial year, that this is how you are going to perform. So that is the revised estimates, means probability, and you will realize that this is going to possible regarding receipts and payments. Okay, so that is the revised one. And the actual means at the end of the financial year, whatever you planned and whatever you actually find, that the actual finding or the realized values are the actuals. Okay, so the actual, whatever, wherever you find, that is the real value, okay, that incurred, or the real performance. So now see the receipts and the expenditure, and the deficit trends we have already discussed in the previous infographics. Now here you can see the receipts, and you'll realize that our revenue receipts, mean the government revenue receipts, are decreased during the last year, but this year we have a little increment. We are planning that almost 17.88 lakh crore revenue receipts will have during the year. And the capital receipts, this the brown one is showing for this particular year 2021-22. The capital receipts is gonna be almost 70 lakh crore, 16.94 lakh crore of the capital receipts, against the expenditure, that the revenue expenditure is going to be somewhere 29.29 lakh crore, or you can say 29,29,000 crores of expenditure you are going to made in the terms of revenue expenditure. Okay, and the capital expenditure is going to be just 1/6 of in comparatively revenue, that is just 5,54,000 lakh 5,54,000 crore capital expenditure is going to be. So see, the total receipts is this much, and the total and this is the total expenditure. Total expenditure is somewhere 35 lakh, and that is how we have the the receipts. So receipts and expenditure planning is mentioned in this slide. And the next one, this says about the sources, that where the government revenue comes from, and where the government revenue goes to. Okay, so again, you don't need to mug up, you just need to find out that how the government is receiving and how the government is making expenditure. See, the receiving, you will find that the biggest receiving is in form of borrowings and the liabilities, means the government get the liability overall, that is, you can say, the capital receipts contributes big chunk here, that is almost, if let's say the government receipt is 1 rupee, then the 36 paisa is just the capital receipts in nature. Okay, then the other forms, you can say the corporate tax 13 paisa out of 1 rupees, income tax 14 paisa out of 1 rupees, custom is there, then the excise duty, GST is 15 paisa. See, the biggest tax revenue is that the 15 paisa, that is through the GST. All right, So these are basically the revenue receipts. Okay, the very first one was the capital receipt, 36 paise out of 1 rupee, and then the corporate income, custom, union, excise duties, and GST. These are the revenue receipts of the government, and then the and basically from the tax revenue, and this is the non-tax revenue, just 6 paisa, like the stamp duties kind of form, and then the non-debt capital receipt is 5 paisa only. And where the government make expenditure, see the centrally sponsored scheme, 9 paisa out of 1 rupees, central sector scheme, 13 paisa out of 1 rupee. Now here is a question you can have, that what is difference between centrally sponsored scheme and the central sector scheme. So the centrally sponsored scheme, where the state government has responsibility to implement the scheme, and the government just the central government just supports by funding the scheme or giving some technical support, like. And the central sector scheme, where the funding, implementation, everything, the whole soul, the central government is responsible for these schemes. Okay, so that is the difference. And then you can see the biggest thing, that is the 20 paise out of 1 rupees, almost 1/5 of total expenditure is just the interest payment. See, 20% amount of your budget you are paying only for payment of the interest. If just suppose if you would not have this liability payment of 20 paise out of 1 rupee, then you could use this amount for developmental purpose, for development of India, right? So that is why that the primary deficit we count and understand, that how can we minimize our, the public debt, so that we can remove or avoid this misutilization of the government funds. Okay, then the defense again plays very important role because of the major enemies, China and Pakistan, like. So we have just 8 paisa of 1 rupees we have to spend over the defense. Then the subsidies, again very important, like the urea subsidy or the power subsidies, where the government uh, has to spend the big chunk, that is 9 paise out of 1 rupees. Then the 10 paise out of 1 rupees for the finance commission and transfer, 16 paisas for the state shares. Okay, so the GST, where the state government has also the share for that. So where the taxes and the duties central government has to share, that is the 16 paisas. So after the interest payment, almost 1/6, okay, 16 paisa out of 1 rupees, central government has to share with the state government. Then the pension is also like a burden, where the government has to pay 5 paisa out of 1 rupees. Then the other expenditure, like the general expenditure of 10 paisas. Now the central government expenditure, just go through generally. This is the budget of this year, where the expenditures are mentioned properly. You can find that the pension is like the big burden for India, where the Indian government pays almost 1,89,000 crore rupees for pension only. Then the defense, very important sector, where the government spend almost 3.5 lakh crore rupees. Then the major subsidies almost equivalent to the defense expenditure. Then in agriculture, government pays 1.5 lakh crore rupees. Then the commerce and industry, northeast development, education, important sector, where somewhere 1 lakh crore rupees government is planning to spend during this year. Then the energy, to boost the capability, the capacity I mean the productivity capacity of India. Energy is very important for development. So it's to increase the level of production, we are planning to spend this much amount, somewhere 42,000. Then the external affairs, finance, and the health, very important. As per this scenario, the health sector is very important. For the health, the government is planning for 75,000 crore rupees. Then the home affairs, all right. Then the interest payment, see the interest payment, I told you the biggest amount, 8 lakh crore rupees the government is just paying, and this is just, you know, the you can't say almost accurate exactly misutilization, but yes, somewhere it is like the misutilizations, up to certain extent you can say 8 lakh crore rupees of the budget. Can you believe? This is just somewhere 20%. Okay, the government is paying in form of interest, and the government could have used the same amount if interest burden would not be there for development. So see, that is the again the question mark for us, and we should be very much concerned about it. Then the planning statistics, rural development, 2 lakh crore rupees. Then I am just talking about the general sense, approx 1 lakh 31,000 for the tax administration. Then the transfer to states, we have paid to states also 2 lakh 93,000. Then the for the transport, whatever you can say, somewhere the infrastructure development purpose, we have this much budget. Then the union territory share, urban development share, and the other expenses. So this is the grand total is somewhere 34 lakh 83,236 crore rupees. Okay, 34 lakh 83,236 crore rupees. See, the health and the well-being, the government addressed it in a very much influential way. See, the budget estimates where we are planning almost, you know, the 223,846 crore rupees. I mean 2,23,846 crore rupees is the estimation that the government is going to spend for the not only for the health but including well-being expenditure. Okay, well-being means for the human development, okay, or the human capital development, you can say, overall the improving the standard of living of humans or the general public. Okay, now key numbers, these are, you can see here, this is how the budget actually looks like. Here basically we need to see the actual figure 2920, and this was the actual figure, the government realized this one. Okay, and this is the budgetary estimate for the last year and the revised estimates, and finally we have this year. Okay, budget is just planning or estimate. So see, for this year we have the planning that the revenue receipts is somewhere 17 lakh, capital receipts is 17.88 lakh crore, capital receipts 16 lakhs 94,812 crore rupees. Then the total receipts is 34 lakh, and the expenditure is also equivalent to that amount, 34 lakh 83,236 rupees, where the and now various kind of deficit. See, the revenue deficits means 11 lakh 40,000 crore rupees is your revenue deficit, means the government is somewhere underperforming to create revenue. Okay, this is the big question mark for us, and we as, or I mean to say, the government should be very much conscious about this. Then the fiscal deficit, you can find out the fiscal deficit is 15 lakh crore rupees. It means that this is the general deficit. All expenditures are 15 lakh crore rupees more than the all receipts. Okay, if the expenditure is, for example, 34 lakh 30, let's say in high, approximately, if the total expenditure is 35 lakh crore, then the receipt is just 20 lakh crore, means the 15 lakh crore is the deficit. Okay, the loss. And here is very surprisingly, you can see that the primary deficit is just 7 lakh crore. It means the 8 lakh crore rupees is just the interest payment, right? Again, alarming situation for us, we must think about it. Then the resources transfer to the UTs, you can see during this year we are planning to spend almost 13.89 lakh crore rupees to transfer for the states or the UTs. Basically, it's like the shares of states and the union territories. What we are planning for this year, that is 13.89 lakh crore. Okay, now see, we have the big and the significant deficit. Okay, the fiscal deficit generally, if we say. So how do we finance that deficit? We do not print currency. All right, the printing currency is not the way of financing deficit, but there are the various other ways. The government use them for, I mean, the government uses them for financing deficit. One is the market borrowings, then the securities. Market borrowings means the government get funds from the market. Government takes loan from the market, and the securities against the small savings, state provident fund, and then the internal debt and the public account, external debt, and getting amount from the cash balance existed with the government. Okay, so government can withdraw from the cash reserve available with it. All right, so these are the sources. Basically, how do we finance the deficit? See, the currency printing is not the way, and it's even it can be the way, but it is the last way when you don't have any other things. And in the upcoming times, we'll definitely gonna discuss this thing also, that why the currency printing is or I mean can be, okay, why the currency printing for deficit financing can be a blunder. We'll definitely discuss, but till then you can also figure out the answer for this. So thank you so much. This is how we ended all the infographics, and in short we learned about the state share in the government budget, what is the budget actually, the types of deficit, then the actual revised and the estimated data, and how is the share, why the primary deficit is calculated along with the fiscal deficit and the revenue deficit, what is the use of them, like the application, what do we understand. So this is just not to this video is not dedicated to mugging up the data, but just to understand and realize the how government budget is presented and what is inside the budget. Okay, so I hope you have learned some basics about it. Thank you so much. Let's wait for the next video where we'll discuss in deep where how the government allocated funds in the various schemes and in the various pillars which were mentioned as per the themes. Okay, and they were 6, right? So till then, thank you so much. Have a great time, and let's wait for the next video.